Happy video day, guys. Christina, Brooke here. Today I am going to be doing a fun video for you guys. So Pat Mcgrath has announced a brand new collection, the Bridgerton collection. So if you guys have not seen Bridgerton, it is a Netflix series, super popular, and I saw the first season because I think they're starting the second season too, but the first season was so good. It was super addictive, and I know there's a lot of fans of this series out there. So this was kind of a shock. Pat Mcgrath announces now that she's going to be doing a collab with Bridgerton, and she's going to be releasing a bunch of pieces inspired by this series. And I know a lot of people were already going crazy when she did like the little sneak peek of what the packaging was going to look like. We didn't know it was going to be like a Bridgerton collection, so I think a lot of people just thought, oh my goodness, there's a new eyeshadow palette coming out, and I think a lot of people got excited. Now, in this video, I'm going to be giving you guys my thoughts, but we're also going to be doing a Make Up Your Mind on the eyeshadow palette. So if you guys are new to Make Up Your Minds, what I do in this series is I try to mimic the color story with items that I already have in my collection to get an idea of what it's going to look like so that I can decide whether it's something I really want to add to my collection or not. I started doing this so that I wouldn't pick up every single eyeshadow palette on the market because they are all so beautiful, and really you kind of get hypnotized by the packaging, by the layout, by the theme, and sometimes you just go and buy it and then it sits in your drawer the entire year because you just don't use those colors. So we're gonna do a lot in this video. So if you are new, don't forget to go ahead and hit subscribe, join the family. Love talking about makeup. Got a lot of fun videos. Doing a CHRISTINAMAS this year, which just means that this entire month of December there is going to be an upload every single day. So you guys don't want to miss out on that. And let's go ahead and let's get into it. Okay, so first thing, I've got pink on my lids because this collection is pink. I think that was the biggest shocker. But let's just quickly go over the pieces that are in the collection. I wanted to show it to you guys because might as well just go over each one. All right, so this is what the collection looks like. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys an image, and I will tell you, I did not expect this. When I heard Bridgerton, I was thinking different color story. Maybe the blue, yes, but different color story. So let's start off with the blush trio thing. So in here, you've got 3 different shades. You have Cherish, Nymphette, and Venus Nectar is the highlight. Now, the cool thing is I do have one highlight from Pat Mcgrath, and it's in Golden Nectar. So I actually don't have Venus Nectar. So, and I don't have both of these blushes. This may be one that I might pick up, just because I like her blush formula. I don't like the ones that have glitter in it. I've got to look and see if these have glitter in it. I think that they don't. And I love her highlight formula. So I think that this might be like a no-brainer for me. I think this one might come home with me. Now, when it comes to the 2 different individual highlights, there is the Incandescent Gold 002, and it's a sparkling platinum gold. And then there's the Extreme Gold, that's a yellow gold. Okay, so looking at these, I think that the highlights, these in specific, I'm going to skip out on. Honestly, looking at them, not that much interest. I don't really love the packaging. It's just like it's a black packaging and it has like that stamp. Yeah, it looks kind of like those emblems that they used to have in the families back in the day. But honestly, like it just doesn't look super luxurious to me. I don't know, that's just my opinion. And then also I was looking at the little embossings, and the embossing's cute, but I don't know. This to me is just useless. This is gonna be not used in my collection. So I feel like if I'm gonna get the trio with the 2 blushes and the highlight, I don't need to buy an additional highlight. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be skipping out on these. I also know that her price tag on these are usually pretty high. I have an individual one that I really like, but these are... But also, one of them says that it has like sparkling platinum. I don't love the word sparkling. That sounds like glitter. Comes to the actual palette, it's going to be called the Diamond of the First Water. And it's an eye and blush palette. So apparently, if I understand this correctly, you're going to be able to use this palette for multiple reasons. So it's not going to just be an eyeshadow palette. So that is making it more interesting, but then again, you still have to really like the shades. So that's why I decided to do a Make Up Your Mind on it. I was staring at the palette in general, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. No interest whatsoever when I saw the screen grab of it. I just went like, oh, like it just did not excite me at all. Now, I do know that in Bridgerton, blue is a predominant shade because one of the families has like a lot of blue in it. But I was thinking that that beautiful, so the Astral Formula blue that's in there is probably going to be so beautiful. It's going to be like a palish blue, at least what it looks like. And that one got me excited. I just don't see how it translated to the rest of the palette. Like the rest of the palette reminds me of Divine Rose again. So I'm gonna go ahead and let's start our Make Up Your Mind. I'm gonna show you guys what I found in my collection. So this is what I found in my collection versus the swatches that she released. Now, I also have descriptions of each one of the shades. So I kind of was able to match this up also to what she's describing the shade looks like. So let's just go ahead and start. So for the very first color, she's saying that it's like an opalescent pink champagne highlighter. So this one's gonna be a double. So you can use it as a highlight, but you can also use it on your eyes. I do like that they did this, but what I did was I jumped into Utopian Dream and I grabbed this color right here. I think it was called like Nude Skin Show or something. Now it reminds me a lot of this shade. Now I believe that the new shade is gonna have more pink in it and this one might be a little bit more nude. But I was looking through my collection and a lot of like the pinky shades that I have that are a little bit mixed with champagne, they go too pink compared to her swatch. So this one kind of reminded me a lot of the color, just maybe with a more pink undertone, but this is the one that made me be able to see the color the most, at least I think so. All right, so the next one is interesting because it looks like a brown, right? And now Pat McGrath does this color like all the time. But this one, the description was like a velvety plumish matte. And I figured that it was going to be a brownish plum just looking at it because she tends to do these type of plummy colors when she does pinks. So I stayed in Utopian and I just grabbed this color right next door because this was a brownish plum. And I remember when I put it on, I remember thinking like, oh wow, there's a lot more plum in here than you even see in the pan. And when I swatched it and looked at it up against the swatch that she had, it almost looked very similar. So I think it's gonna look close to the Utopian Dream color. Maybe a little bit darker, but I think it's gonna have something pretty similar. So the first two shades I did pull straight out of Utopian, and I think they're gonna look similar to Utopian. I mean, they're not gonna be identical, but I can get an idea of the first two shades. And to be honest, first two shades, I feel like we have them in multiple palettes, except for this one might have a little bit more pink in it, which honestly to me is not exciting because you guys know my love for pink. Like, I don't love pink on the lids. So a baby pink metallic, like light highlighter, you know. The next color, what I did was I went into the Natasha Denona Love palette and I grabbed this last color right here. I believe she said that this one's gonna be like a satiny color and her satins don't have that much shine to it. And I remember that this one didn't have that much shine, but it reminded me a lot of this color from the Natasha Denona Love palette. And do you guys remember what I kept saying about this palette? That I wish that she didn't have that last shade because it was like my least favorite shade in this entire palette because I don't like that strong pink. So the first three shades, even though they're not bad, it's like the pink to me was just like a wah, wah, you know, like yay. And for the next color, I believe that this might be one of those colors that people are going to really love from this palette, like the different color. Like this might be that different, like cool shade. I had a hard time finding this color. I didn't really find it, but I actually had to create it. So what I did was mix these two palettes together. So on my lids, the color I have all over my lids is this invented shade that I did, trying to mimic her color. So what I did was I grabbed this color right here from the Love, which it's like a pinky purpley tone color. It reminded me a lot, but you know, it has that shift. So on camera, it might actually look more golden, but in person, it has like more of like a purpley pinky tone. But what I did was I jumped into the Sunrise and grabbed this purpley lilac color and kind of just put it right on top to kind of just get rid of a little bit of that shift. So it had more of like a pink slash purple look. So that's how I was able to create like this kind of like, I don't want to say purple, like lilac pink, or more strong on a pink with a little bit of like a purple tone to it. That's what it looks like in her swatches. So that's kind of like what I created. I like this color. There was a color similar to this inside of the Eternal Eden, was it? I think it was. Yeah, I think it was an Eternal Eden. This shade right here, it reminds me of like this shade, but this shade looked too deep and hers looked more pink. So that's why I made this one. I think it might look like that. But look at, like, looks like a Valentine's palette already, like kind of like very pink. Then the next one is going to be the special shade. So this is going to be an astral, but it's going to have blue in it. And it looks like it's going to be a very pale blue, like almost like you can call it like a silvery metallic. So what I did was I grabbed this one from Utopian. Now this one does not have the right shift because it's going to shift to like a golden color. But it's funny because if you grab this one, right, which has like this golden silvery shift, and then you also grab this one, which goes more purple with a little bit of, I guess it's more purple, but when you put it on top of this one and they mix together, they almost give you like a purpley blue light shift. It gives me an idea of what this one's gonna look like. Like this shade is definitely gonna look more blue, and I do think that it might be a blue that I can get on board with, but I don't know how much I love it with the colors that she put inside of this palette. If she would have used this beautiful blue pastel-y astral color, mixed it with some browns, maybe even some purples, I think it could have been something interesting, but I think mixing it with the pinks like she did, I just don't know how much I would want to use them together. Like it almost looks like this was just like the added in shade just for ooh, and it was like a ooh, you know? So I don't know, like this one has more purple in it, so it is gonna match a little bit better, but imagine this one more blue. Like it's gonna have more blue in it. I wanna grab, maybe what I can do just to show you guys of what I'm thinking is like just grabbing like a blue like this one from Circle Loco, even though it's not gonna be this green. But like if you just tab the blue on top of this just to kind of maybe add a little bit of color to those shifts, I guess that kind of does it, right? It kind of made those shifts look a little bit more blue. So I guess, yeah, like that. You see, so the blue, it turned a little bit more silvery, icy blue. It's pretty, and like looking at it swatched together, I could see more how it goes with the color story, but I don't know. It just didn't, it still doesn't really excite me. So then the last color is another pink. And what I did was I jumped into a poppy because she said it was like a berry pink. So I think it's going to be more of like this hot berry-ish pink, which at least it's not fuchsia. So I think it's going to go more berry. I hope it goes more berry like this than fuchsia like this, because another fuchsia color would be like, so many fuchsias. There's two satin mattes. So that means that they have like a little bit of a shine to them, like they're not a flat matte. And I believe it's gonna be like these two, like the two pinkies are gonna be like the satin mattes. And then this one's gonna be an astral. This is gonna be your only real matte. This one she's considering like a highlight. So I don't know if maybe that's gonna be like in between like a metallic and a satin. And then this one here, I believe is her only, and then this one is gonna be her actual metallic. So if you really look at this, there's really only one matte in here, and it's going to be this Plumish shade. All the rest of them are going to have some kind of shine to it. Thank God that these are like satin mattes, so they're not going to be super, super matte, but they're still going to have a little bit of shine. So I'm not in love with that either, because one matte, only one flat matte in this whole thing kind of gets me like, ah! But this is what I think the color story is going to look like. Based off of the colors and the descriptions that she released, this is what I'm thinking. And looking at this is just, it's such a shame because it really just not my color story. Now, I do know that some people love pink and they love blue, and they're probably thinking like this is heaven. But like for me, like I had a hard time finding this in my collection because I usually tend to skip out on these kind of palettes because I know with experience, this one I hardly ever use from Pat McGrath. This one I really like from Natasha Denona, but I try not to use the pink that much. And I just did a 5-day challenge with the Utopian, and one of the problems that I kept having is everything kept going pink on me. So I kept getting a little frustrated because I wanted to get away from the pink. So using a palette like this, I think that there would be like no escaping the pink, you know? And this one here is probably going to be the coolest shade, which is the Astral one. That's really awesome that there's going to be one in this palette. But I think that these Astral formulas are so gorgeous. But I can tell you how many times I use them. You know, I've got like these these two in the mothership that I hardly ever use. I've got, you know, my other mothership that has a few in it as well, and I don't use them that much, just on special occasion. I don't know, it just, to me, this is so hard. I think I'm gonna make up my mind and say I'm skipping the palette, and I think it's gonna be a smart choice. I personally want to get it just to get it, but I really feel like it should be a skipper. First off, it's limited edition, so once it sells out, it's gone. So I'm not gonna wanna use it for the rest of the year because then you guys can never buy it. And then also, like, the shades to me just don't seem super unique. Nothing that I wanna run and purchase. And I feel like the Star Wars ones last year, was it, that they were a little bit more unique. And if you guys recall, towards the middle of the year when she released, was it her Celestial Divinity? Some of the shades looked very similar to the Star Wars. So who knows, maybe this beautiful bluish astral will make an appearance again throughout the year. But yeah, I'm not really excited for this palette, and I feel bad. And I know a lot of you guys want me to do Pat McGrath for my 1 year, 1 brand, and I was really considering it. I was thinking I'm gonna do Pat McGrath, but then she released this collection and it's more pink. And it's getting me a little frustrated because the brand is so creative. Like, they create these beautiful shadows, but I don't understand why the color stories are so flat lately. I feel like they're just so flat. They're so repetitive. I don't understand it. Bridgerton had so much color in it. If you guys saw the show, there's so much color in Bridgerton. There was the yellow family that had all those feathers everywhere. There was so much color. Why was it pink again? Like, I think that there was just so much more to play off of. So I'm a little disappointed, a little let down. I think it could have been a little bit stronger, and I just feel like the formula is probably going to be beautiful. You know, people are going to like the palette. I just feel color story-wise, talking about the colors in general, I think it could have been stronger, and I think there could have been a little bit more to this collection, a little bit let down. I want to know from you guys, what do you guys think? Are you a little let down as well? I will tell you guys, if you guys like Bridgerton, I would recommend that you guys check out the show Poldark. I think that that was also a really similar idea to Bridgerton, like the same time era, and it was a really, really good show as well. Anyways, yeah, I really like that one too, but I'm excited for season 2 of Bridgerton. Really excited that the Duke's not coming back. I know it's following the books, but you know, you kind of like get attached to the characters and you kind of want to see them again. So I don't know, we'll see. I'm excited for season 2. Not so excited about the Pat McGrath collab eyeshadow palette. It's cool that she's doing it, that you can use probably, like, you know, you could probably use these colors on the cheeks if you want, and then this one's supposed to be like a highlight, so she's doing it kind of like multi-use, but it's still kind of boring for me. I'm definitely going to be getting the trio, most likely, with the 2 blushes, so that will be something I will get, but other than that, that's where we're going to leave it. Let me know your comments down below. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.